catches, puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah. We packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the tray, yes and no. Friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul, the win the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.
Yeah! Oh man, I can hear myself echoing. Welcome to the Basement Sports Network post-game show. Late as a fuck. 1 o'clock in the morning out here. I'm your host, Roy A. Shepherd. And they got me, guys. I'm blinking. I have been captured by the all-Caucasian panel that is surrounding me. So let's introduce the white boys of the basement coming through one time. I fucking hate it. Started with the boy Ant Donato. Ant, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, man. And nothing worse than staying up for a fucking loss. Oh, damn. Is it past 15 seconds? Yeah, we're good. I feel good, man. I'm glad I saw some entertainment tonight, man. It was fun.
Listen, we ain't got to worry about that new YouTube rule. As I told y'all in the chat, the intro video takes care of those 15 seconds of no cursing. So by the time I get on this bitch, YouTube, put your pampers on. We joined by my boy Hot Take Harrison. Harry, how you doing today?
I'm tired, but I'm good, and I'm here for you guys. Excited to discuss another Bam showing. He looked amazing. I'm happy to talk about it.
No, for sure. My boy, Bubba, a.k.a. Alex Maserati. How you doing today, my boy?
Pretty good. I could only handle so many 90s sports teams collapsing in like the past 24 hours, so I'm really glad that we pulled that one out.
Y'all see where that boy streaming from. We changed the name of the network from the basement to the bathroom. But we going up to my boy, Alex Shelton. Shelton, how you doing today, my guy?
I'm pretty good. You know, had a good weekend. Best Heat win, I will say, in some time. And I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass like some other people on Twitter. But we'll get to it.
I just saw your name. You, sir, are an asshole. So, Miami pulled out a 110-100 victory over the Clippers tonight. Great first half. The best basketball the Heat have played all season long in that first half. Legitimately had everybody on Heat Twitter excited. We saw everybody kind of contributing, doing their thing. Well, almost everybody. But we saw most of the team contributing, you know what I mean? Showing us the things that we like to see from them. And then that third quarter happened, blew a 20-point lead. But we were able to close it out, primarily on the backs of the young guys. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro kind of carried us through this game where we didn't get much from very many other people. So we're going to start with my guy, Shelton. You get to start today. After I get this dono from Alex Campbell. Thank you, Alex Campbell, for the $4.99 dono. He said, everyone but Lowry has shown me at least something. I didn't say it. I'm starting positive tonight. So, Shelton, give me your thoughts on tonight's game.
I thought it was a great game. Great first half, like you said. You know, people are saying in the chat, Bam is an all-star. Bam is an all-NBA player. He is a top 3 center in the league right now. And he has tricked us many times, but I'm ready to climb fully on board. I've been hurt so many times in the past, but I'm ready to climb on board. He had another 31 and 13 tonight. He was crisp the whole night. You know, defensively elite as always. But yeah, it was a good first half. Third quarter is still a thing in 2023, it seems. But you know, they fought through it. They brought it back in the fourth a little bit and then closed it pretty strong. So it was a pretty solid game overall. Still not a complete game. They haven't really done a full complete game to this point in the entire season. So still looking for that.
No, for sure. Like some of the comments I alluded to, I didn't say his name, but Victor Oladipo was absolutely huge for this team. And he has been for the past couple of games defensively. the man is making a case for an all defensive team. Like, hell, Marcus Smart won it last year. Victor Oladipo, second in defensive player of the year behind Bam Adebayo. Let's go to Maserati. Alex, tell me your thoughts on tonight's game.
Bam Adebayo should be given keys to the franchise immediately, and he should get a statue ASAP. This man is keeping this team afloat in the second half. Tyler Herro had a fantastic first half, then didn't score until the fourth quarter. Bam Adebayo really puts this team on his back night in, night out. He's the most consistent player in Miami sports right now. He's probably the face of Miami sports right now, and I'm glad he is. This man is averaging damn near 25, 26, and 10 his last 16 games, fifth 30-point game in his last 17 games. This season was, you can say, flatlining on its deathbed, and this man will not let the ship sink. He just won't do it. He won't let this team die. He won't let this team quit, even when Jimmy's being passive, when Herro goes cold in the third quarter, when Strus and Duncan aren't getting anything going, when Lowry's being a fat piece of shit like he always is. This man will not let this team die. He'll dunk it on your head. He'll pull up from the mid-range now. He'll get your favorite player a screen assist. I mean, this is too much fun to watch him play, and he's still...
Will he dunk that bitch on your head?
Literally.
2 times.
The and one dunk was ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
Following his own misses. He's
following Jimmy's miss?
Everything.
Putting that ding-ding on the back of Paul George's head? Oh, yes, indeed. I was here for it all.
The last 20 games, Bam Adebayo has been a top 10 player in the NBA, while at the same time locking up top 10 players in the NBA. This is everything that the Miami Heat want. I'm not the biggest Heat culture guy, but like if Heat culture was really like that, it would be somebody like Bam Adebayo. Like this man is the Heat's pride and joy, and I hope he is for the next 20 years. I just really wish we paired him with his best friend who scored 71 tonight.
I'm not going to talk about that because it makes my blood pressure run up. But as y'all know, I don't control what y'all say about other players in the league. Harrison, I'm going to come to you. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on tonight's game.
Really the Bam show, like we're all been saying. I just saw 6-0 and Bam scores 30-plus points. I don't know the updated record when he shoots more than 15, but that's kind of the number. He needs to be putting up those shots. They need to be getting the ball tonight. He was 12 of 19 from the field. Really big double-double. He was dunking over everybody. I don't think he likes anybody on the Clippers. He took it out on them. It seemed personal. He really took over. It's nice 2 games in a row now that Bam, Herro, and Oladipo have led the way without Jimmy. I know Jimmy didn't really play tonight. He just seemed to be going through the motions tonight. So good for those 3 because honestly, they can win some games. The 3 of those guys, they can definitely do it, especially the way Depot's played offensively the last 2 games because the defense has been there since he came back, but the offense has taken a lot of time, and he looks a lot smoother, a lot more comfortable getting into the offense, getting to the basket, getting other guys involved. He looks quicker. So, we've been making the joke. We didn't know if he would come back. We didn't know what he could do, but if that's what he's giving you in the minutes off the bench, that is what the Heat's been missing. So,
I'll take it.
So Depot's been looking nice, and Herro has made some big shots down the stretch. We need him to keep playing well. I feel comfortable with him taking those shots at the end of the game. I prefer him taking those shots over anyone that isn't Bam, honestly. So I'm good with it. It's a good recipe for winning. And even though that was I knew the third quarter was coming. I knew there was going to be a clutch game. It was good that they could pull it out. And honestly, a 10-point win after being down by 2 after the third is pretty good on the road against a decent Clipper team. I think you got to take that victory and run with it.
No, absolutely. I think even though we were up by so much at halftime, that first half was so beautiful. But by the end of halftime, I was already prepared for what I was about to see. And I think that was kind of like the mindset of a lot of Heat fans, just knowing. I didn't know what the outcome of this game would be, but I knew how the second half would kind of play out. Thank you, James Todd, for the $5 dono. He said they're doing the thing again. They're giving me hope. Also, keep Vicky in the lineup in the 4th for Lowry and get me a legit 4. Listen, I was confused as to why Lowry came back into the lineup for Strus at the end of the game because when he came back in, he wasn't handling the ball. And it's just if he's not going to handle the ball, then what the fuck is his purpose? But I don't want to jump the gun with that. But Ant, let's come to you. Give me your thoughts on tonight's game. And I know it's probably going to be sitting around. Never mind. Your name might have changed my mind. But go ahead. Give me your thoughts on the game.
Well, no, you had a pretty good transition before when you was talking about the third quarter. Obviously, we all mentioned it because we all knew where it was going. I actually want to put up this text conversation I had with our boy Will. Y'all know Will. It might be too small, but basically I said, how much are we down by after the third quarter? And he said we'd be up 17. And then if you want to pause and read the rest of that, you can. But we all knew it was coming. And I know Alex mentioned a couple things too. One, he said Bam has been the most consistent player in Miami sports. I'd like to argue that Jason Sanders has been pretty consistently god-awful. So he probably has my vote. I'm sure Alex would agree with that as well. And as far as the Mitchell thing, yeah, that sucks. You'd like to believe we could have had him, especially when you listen to him talk and seeing the kind of year he's had. But I do want to give Tyler Herro credit. He's been on an incredible run. Obviously, he had a great December, and that's continuing this month. And I do want to give him some love because obviously we had New Year's Day off, and he was awesome in that game versus the Jazz. And to hit that kind of balls tough shot that he did was fun. And it really got my New Year's off to the right start because that was really fun. So I do want to give him some credit. But I want to talk about Orlando Robinson because it is a shame that he has not been mentioned yet at the three people that went. He is awesome. Now, I do want to shout out LJ2, the host of our Random Scrub Heat podcast, who is a notable Orlando Robinson hater. He is wrong. He needs to come on his second post-game stream and apologize because he is awesome. His argument is we're comparing him to Dedmon, which is why he looks good, and he is 100% correct. But still, seeing the hustle that he gives us, he only has
do not care.
Tonight, but it was in 11 minutes. The difference between him and Dedmon, I think, is huge, though. All Robinson's minutes aren't negative. You can see the kind of impact he has out there just strictly from a hustle standpoint. And he's big. How nice is it to have a guy that's not just 6'8", but he hustles to make up for it? You got a true 6'11", 7-footer that also hustles. That's a big deal. I think he's a really big piece to this team. They'll find a way to convert his two-way contract, and I think he is a lock to be in the rotation the rest of the year because, quite frankly, I don't think they can afford to lose him out of the rotation.
No, that you bring up a good point with Orlando Robinson because at least when he comes in, Bam can at least sit down and breathe for a little bit. That is kind of the biggest plus. And yes, we are comparing him to Dewayne Dedmon, but we're getting production, so I like it. Take the positives where you can take them, goddamn, because there haven't been many this year. But let's focus on Bam a little bit. I was saying this on the timeline, Alex Sheltman. God damn, bro. One of y'all change our name legally so that we can not have this problem. Alex Sheltman, I was saying this on the timeline, but it feels like a lot of these times when we were asking Bam to be aggressive, he didn't really know where his spot was. I think he's fucking found it at that dotted line. He has been killing people at the dotted line this season. And that's kind of what I want you to start with. Talk about his shot selection and how he's been able to use that to kind of fuel this run that he's been on.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. The one move that Bam seems to consistently go back to that I keep spotting is he'll get the ball in the post and he'll face up and then he'll drive 2 dribbles to the right and pull up from the dotted line, like you said. That seems to be like his comfort spot. Aside from that, it is a lot of pick and roll action that he's getting with either Gabe or Tyler or I guess whatever the fuck Kyle's doing out there when he's out there. But when Bam is getting comfortably to his spots, he feels nearly unstoppable at this point for the last 2 months or so. And that's not something we've seen on a consistent basis throughout his career. I'm not sure if it's necessarily an aggression thing. I'm sure it is partially an aggression thing, but it's definitely, finding the spots that he's the most comfortable in. And like you said, the dotted line is definitely one of those top spots for him.
Who brought him in? I was going to introduce him first and let my boy Alex get his shit off before we brought the show in. But ladies and gentlemen, we called his name. So the host of the Random Scrub Heat podcast, LJ Cascon, has pulled up. LJ, say nice things about Orlando Robinson.
Fuck you. Did Ant put you up to this shit? Did Ant tell you to say that?
No, I listened to the podcast and I've heard you slander him repeatedly.
Okay, so who has the worst hands on the Miami Dolphins?
Oh shit, Jakeem Grant still.
Yeah, okay. So Orlando Robinson's hands are like if Jakeem Grant's hands were Jerry Rice. His hands are shit. And not indicative of the player himself, but I mean, okay, you know what? I'm not going to front like I watched the whole game. I didn't. I tuned in the third quarter, which was marvelous, by the way. That was a turd quarter for the A's.
It's your fault, LJ. It's your fault.
It probably is because I keep, I'm manifesting it, so to speak. I keep talking about it every time, and I'll probably talk about it on the podcast tomorrow too. But that was some nasty work, and I'm not going to say anything nice about Orlando Robinson, who had 6-6. So congratulate. I mean, that's Dewayne Dedmon-esque, but all right, let me box score watch right quick. He was what was that? Orlando Robinson, a -1. So that's actually like 10 better than Dewayne Dedmon. So that's sick. The price of the brick, as Twan says.
But we won by 10. So is that not the difference?
That you're damn right. And you know what? That's why Dewayne Dedmon can rest his plantar fasciitis, and I will be a happy cheerleader.
That's right. Rooting for Orlando Robinson as the rest of the season happens. Want to thank my guy Jason Adebayo, who was scolding us in the comments, by the way, the other day. He said, with the 199 donut, he said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, my dog. We have to make sure we let them know. You can scold us, bro, but people gonna get their shit off. Thank you, Brian, with the 499. Don't know. He said this Heat team is a top 6 team in the East. Without Lowry, who scored 3, 5, and 6 points the past 3 games, we would be a top 5 to 4. Bam is a monster. Yes, indeed. Bam is him. That is him. But I do want to get into Jimmy, who was a little bit lethargic tonight. But still, I think Jimmy was solid. Didn't play great. Maserati, talk about Jimmy's game tonight.
I mean, it's what I expected from Jimmy on not national television against not the Celtics or the Lakers. I mean, it's just we'll see if other people are doing their thing. But if Bam's going to drop 30, keep doing it. I'd rather watch Bam than watch Jimmy because Jimmy's just going to go to the free throw line. But that's fine. He's getting Bam the ball. That's all you can ask for. I think he trusts teammates a little bit too much, especially after a 20-point comeback. I think eventually it's time to step up and maybe – fix it and maybe score some points. But to be honest with you, if Jimmy's going to do this, he can do this. I'm not going to judge Jimmy Butler on how he goes game to game, especially when Bam's ball.
I think that is the absolute perfect take to have. Y'all see my name. This is the way. This is the way. If the Heat are going to be like this, this is the way that I want them to play basketball. Play through Bam and Tyler. Jimmy, you chip in whenever you feel like it, if the game feels like it's in reach and you can do something about it. But goddamn, just let the kids have the reins. Harrison, I don't know. There's somebody talking to you. I can come back later.
No, I'm here. There's no one here. It's just me in this room. Sometimes I look around. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So talk about Jimmy. Talk about Jimmy tonight, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a theory that maybe he was hungover. He was in LA for a few days before everybody else. He just looked tired out there. Not sure that it was really his best effort, but sometimes they need a bucket. They need someone to get to the free throw line. He can do that for them. I'm really not mad about it because the problem is a lot of the offense this year has been really bad without Jimmy. So if they can thrive without him, that's going to help moving forward. Because Jimmy can take over a game if he needs to or in the postseason. So it's kind of better that Bam feels comfortable taking over. And I'm all right with this game. He had 6 assists. It's not – he obviously didn't shoot well, but you'll take these road victories any way you can. And I'm all right with the game that he kind of takes a few steps back if it means that other guys are going to step up. You kind of look up and down the box score. Only one guy who played didn't score. We all know who that was. And hopefully he's not here much longer. But that's all I got to say.
Yeah, so I feel like this Jimmy thing, 2 people is more than enough to talk about his game. You don't want to belabor the point. I do want to talk about somebody who actually contributed to it. And since your name alludes to him, I'm going to talk about Victor Oladipo with you, Ed. Vic has been amazing. And tonight was no different. Defensively, the man he has revolutionized the way the Heat are able to play defense. And with his offense starting to come along, he's becoming almost too important to take off the floor. So talk about Vic's game tonight and what you believe his role should be with this team going forward.
Well, my favorite thing, though, he took 11 shots and only 3 threes. That was kind of my biggest annoyance with him. But, yeah, the defense was godly. He was all over the place tonight, as he's been all year, which is really important because whether the offense is there or not, it's nice to know that you have a player that will give you something every single night. You didn't have that when he was out, and you were forced to play Strus more minutes. You were forced to play Duncan Robinson more minutes. You never knew if you would get anything from those guys. So I look at Oladipo's offense as just a bonus. To me, his defense has been good enough where you can still play him. You just got to make sure that you got some of the other guys out there like Tyler and stuff. But what his role should be is taking all of Lowry's minutes the rest of the season. I know we had the same thought as soon as we saw Lowry check in the end of the game. We said, why is he coming in? Depot's been balling. I'd much rather see him out there with Gabe, I trust more shooting and obviously on defense too. And
it was Max that they took out, and Max was having a solid game.
Max was playing well, passing too, shooting. And not just because I had put the under on Lowry, which I want to talk about real quick. Heat fans, if y'all listening, turn your volume up real quick. The Miami Heat are giving away free money. Let me tell you how. I got another $45 tonight. I've been on a roll. All you got to do, okay, is take the under on Lowry, who is cheeks. That's a given. And then take the starting 4 on the other team and just bet the over. Today, simple. Under on Lowry, over on Markieff Morris. You can print money. If you're a Heat fan and you smart and you have an unnamed player prop betting app that doesn't sponsor us, so I'm not going to say their name, they are giving away free money. Y'all welcome for that. But, Depot's been awesome. It's nice knowing that we have another guard we can go to, so we're not forced to play Lowry next time. Hopefully Spo next time realizes the Lowry thing was a mistake, because all he did in his minutes coming back in was foul Norman Powell on a near three-point shot, which is just stupid. But it's nice knowing we're not forced to play Lowry, to have another option. And when his offense is there, he brings his team to a whole other level. It's the only thing that gives me some excitement that maybe they could win some games come playoff time.
Yeah, that's not happening. You almost had me until that last sentence, but that's not a thing. I'm not going to hold the ball too long. Alex Sheltman, oh my God, your name is Bubba now. Alex, go ahead and talk about Vic.
If you remember a couple weeks ago, I said, and I said this was a bold take then, but I said Vic was the second best defender on this roster, and I'm starting to get closer to dying on that hill. It feels like every game that goes on, Vic is just a 3 in the steal column. Like, I don't understand how he's just this much of a ball hawk. It's really just incredible. And, like we've all been saying, the additional points that he's been racking up are a bonus. If the
I ain't gonna fold. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna fold, bro.
If the athleticism is starting to come back a little bit, which I don't think it is, cautiously optimistic there, then I feel like Vic is that, we sort of meme on it, is that midseason acquisition that we're looking for.
Oh my God.
Just because he provides so much defensively on, from a perimeter standpoint, point of attack defense. But, I think we spent a lot of time talking about Depot. Can you tell me anything about J-Po?
Oh, my God. What a lie. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank the primary sponsor of the Basement Sports Network, which is Simple Health Advisor and our guy, James Poe. Ladies and gentlemen, insurance does not need to be complicated. Email them or give them a call today and tell them that the Basement sent you. Email our guy, James Poe, at jpoe@simplehealthadvisors.com, or give them a call at 321-345-7738. My boy, Alex, you can permanently be Alex, bro. That was God tier passing there. I'm talking Wade to Hassan. He made that boy look like a real basketball player for a couple years. LJ, we coming to you on the Victor Oladipo conversation, my boy. Tell me what you thought about Victor tonight and what you've been thinking about him over the course of these past couple of games, where his offense has kind of caught up to the defensive impact that he's had.
Well, before my camera dies, I just want to say that, I'm not going to spoil the segment that we have for him on tomorrow's podcast, but Vic, he's been great on defense. That's kind of what we expected. He's been, Alex said it too, top 2, maybe even contention for top 1, consistently best defender, perimeter defender this team has. When you're stuck looking at Kyle Lowry's big juicy ass pause the whole time, trying to stay in front of players, it's not going to happen. So when you see Vic, it's a breath of fresh air. And his offense, like you said, is finally catching up. 20 plus in Utah, really kind of rescued them in that lull. And then tonight, 15 again. He's doing a really, really good job. And it's nice to see him finally kind of get there, because I know last week on the podcast we were talking to, is like, is he going to get there? Is he going to find a rhythm offensively? And for a while, we were kind of thinking that no, but his defense was so good, you were still going to keep him out there because the pros outweighed the cons. Now those cons are decreasing, the pros are increasing. You can't really not like what you've seen out of Vic, especially on the deal that they have him on too, because once that becomes tradable too, I don't know if they're even necessarily looking into that, if they're going to even entertain something like moving Vic, but he's looking like a much more involved piece in a rotation that Spo was very eager on expanding. So I don't know. Vic's looking pretty good.
I think what you're talking about is kind of leading me to another question. With his pros increasing and his cons decreasing, it's making it harder and harder to keep him off the floor, especially in closing minutes. And the person who I'm looking directly at is Kyle Lowry. I think the team is getting more comfortable with Vic on the floor, and they're getting more comfortable with Kyle Lowry off of it at moments. Bubba, do you see us getting to a point in this season where we could see Vic possibly closing over Kyle?
Well, you bring up a good point that they seem, especially the four other guys on the floor, seem more comfortable with Victor Oladipo than Kyle Lowry on the floor. I would imagine it makes your job easier playing with a good to decent player versus an absolutely terrible player on the floor. Depot needs to close games. I just don't want him closing games right now. I'm scared to hype up Depot because I'm worried he's going to get hurt again. But, it's really hard not to be excited about what he's doing. He missed that 3 at the end of the game. He immediately picked up a charge. That's what Kyle Lowry is supposed to be doing. I celebrated when Kyle Lowry got his 4th foul. I did. I'll be honest with you. I cheered just as loud as I cheered for that as I did for the Bam dunk. I was so hyped when E. Reed said, that's his 4th foul. That's not a veteran move. He's got to go take a seat now. I was hyped. I hope Oladipo and Tyler get to play as many minutes as possible because Tyler is clearly way more comfortable with him than he is with Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry doesn't seem comfortable with anyone out there. And it's terrifying to me because he's supposed to be the point guard. He still can't throw a lead-ahead pass. I was shocked when he closed the game, just like everybody else was. Over Strus, over anybody. So I hope Depot takes as many minutes from him as possible, but at the same time, I don't want him to get hurt again. So if you can save that, if possible, to a bigger moment, go ahead. But Vic's playing incredibly well on both ends right now.
The boy Harry looking real washed out here. He done yawned 5 times during other people's takes. So I'm sorry that we're boring you to death, Harrison. I'm going to throw you this one. Has Vic played himself into a position where you would consider leaving him out of any trade offers at this point? Because he's actually providing a skill set that this team could use and needs in terms of point of attack defense. Has he played himself into a way where he's guaranteed to be on this roster post-trade deadline?
Yeah, I think he's pretty close. I think he should be closing games next to Jimmy, Bam, and Herro. And I think the 5th closer is probably not on the Heat's roster right now. So they really need to look for somebody, probably like a 3D guy or a shooter, just someone else that can they might need some spacing in a lineup like that, just because obviously you need to score points when you're closing as well. I don't know if all fans know that. You have to score points down the stretch to win games. I know it's confusing. And we talk, they get all, but you also got to be able to score. So I think he's played himself out of trade talks for this season. I think that's kind of what Alex was saying. It makes more sense next year if they need it. That's a great contract. If he's still playing the same way at $8 million, it's a good deal. But I think he's closing down the stretch. Like we were talking about earlier, he looks quick. He looks decisive. He's making the right play. They talk about the stats with deflections. He's getting his hands on everything out there defensively. And I don't really see where you would find someone that does what he's doing better around the rest of the league at his price point and that would be available. So kind of think he's played himself out of trade talks. I don't even know if it was likely because I don't think he was going to waive his bird rights. He had a no trade clause based on the contract. And so I think he's going to be on the team, and I think that he's an important part of the rotation right now. They kind of needed him coming off the bench. He's provided a huge spark for them, and in the last few games, he's provided the offensive spark, which I think is going to be even more crucial as the season goes along. The only thing I want to say, I know Anthony was getting a little excited there about the team and the playoff success and everything like that. They got
him down a peg, Harrison.
They got 30% of their salary cap tied up in 2 guys who are very, very bad. I'm trying not to. I told my therapist I wouldn't talk about the other guy anymore, but Lowry is really not playing well, And as long as those guys are taking up this the space that they are on this roster, when you can have with that money, you could have 3 or 4 other guys in here doing stuff. That's going to really put a low ceiling on what the Heat can do. So until they figure that out, until they talk to Jimmy and they tell him, hey, listen, we got to get rid of your buddy. He has been cheeks, literally, figuratively, he's not good. They're kind of in a place where they're in trouble. So they can win some games. They're looking a lot better. Obviously, the more that Bam, plays like this, more of these Bam games would be incredible. Just as a fan and watching him grow and he was dunking over everybody. That's a really, really good offensive game for him.
I'm getting moist by you talking about it, Harrison.
Yeah, it was. No, it was. I mean, when you're watching and
I'm
you're a
touching
fan,
myself.
When you're like this guy is very, very, very impressive and should only get better and has not. He's really still a few years away from his prime, so he can really grow. And I think that's kind of what we have to look forward to. But in terms of this year and people talking about, oh yeah, we just need this. We're still not one piece away. They need to figure out multiple moves to get the junk off the team and at the very least retool around guys that make sense for next year. If they bring in guys that expire next year that are more 3-and-D oriented that can come out and I think that's kind of the look that they need to do. And what we're all kind of looking to as we get to the January 15th deadline when they can finally move the corpse of Dewayne Dedmon. Sorry about him. I know he's back with the team. I just got nervous. I thought they were going to leave him home. But also, guys, we won in those red jerseys tonight. We were 0-7 this season in those red jerseys. We got one, so maybe 2023 will be better for the red.
Who the fuck has been keeping track of that stat? What the fuck is going on out here? And Denardo, get that shit off the fucking stream, bitch.
I like how even in that picture I'm sleeping. It doesn't matter.
Yo, you are shot the fuck out, bro. Oh man, want to thank Darius Jordan, the nasty man, for popping in with the $10 dono. He said missed the beginning, but they gave up a 20-point lead. I ain't forget. We ain't forget either, my boy. But since you late, make sure before you get up out of here, you leave us a like and subscribe to the network. We already know you subscribe, bro. You've been rocking with us for so damn long and gave us so much money, my boy. We appreciate you. Thank you, Prop by Pack TV. Basement boy, Cain Gang 199. Don't know. He said good game tonight, but 71 though. Sad face emoji. You hear me? You feel me, Cain? You feel me? You see how they do me? This is what they do. They wait till they ain't got no backup to try and jump up. But don't worry about it, bro. I'm finna find all these white boy real fast, bro. I'm finna put all of them in a pack. No, we're gonna be good tonight. As a matter of fact, bro, this is a late night game. I'm tired. It's almost 1:45. So let's go on to the next game. We're going to the Lakers. Is that tomorrow?
No, we have one day. We have one
Wednesday,
day off.
So technically, but yeah.
Royal, no back.
Today is Tuesday.
Oh, it is tomorrow. You're right. It is tomorrow. Sorry, you win.
No, I don't. I lose because most of y'all probably won't be here. I'll be here though. So we playing the Lakers. That's not a real basketball team. Maserati, the boy feeling good?
Yeah, unless LeBron goes off, I think we'll be all right. Without Anthony Davis, I expect Bam to feast again. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying watching Bam Adebayo play basketball right now, and I haven't enjoyed Heat basketball in a minute. So this is fun. I hope he goes off again. The Lakers are soft. They're not a good team. LeBron carries them to wins against Charlotte and when his wife's in the stands. But if Savannah's not there and MJ's not in the building, I think we got a pretty good chance.
I think we should leave the light in our eyes as long as we can with this team. So, I mean, I'm with you, brother. I'm looking at this win through rose-colored glasses. I mean, but my brain is telling me the truth in the background. Don't y'all ever be fooled about what the boy feels about the Miami Heat. Now, it's not a secret. Alex, the boy feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, this one feels like another win on paper, but you never fucking know with this team, of course. I'm just looking at this as another opportunity, as Maserati said, for Bam to feast. Lakers are kind of short, in that department of defending a big like Bam. And the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, of course, is getting some of our best players in the ear of LeBron and trying to pull him away from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Is that feasible this year? Like, is that a thing that could happen this year?
Not this year, no.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Donato, the boy feeling good?
Yeah, it's a win for me. I'm gonna take the Lowry under, the Wenyen Gabriel over. It's gonna be a nice night for me.
$45 has your name written all over it. The
Easy money, y'all.
They printing that shit over there. Insert random sports betting app that don't sponsor us, so we shall not say their name on this network. Use the promo. Y'all know the promo code. Go ahead, Harrison. The boy feeling good?
Yeah, I think it's a game they should take care of business. I do think there's the added benefit of being able. They're probably obviously the Clippers and Lakers play in the same arena, so don't really have to move or anything like that. That's probably nice for an older team that needs to rest and recover day to day. January, I mentioned earlier this month, looks like a gauntlet, but let's just try to win the games that we're supposed to win and hope we can steal some other ones, and maybe we'll get some reinforcements halfway through. We are getting closer to trade time, which is my time. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the trade machine, so let's hope for a win, and I'll work out some deals in the meantime.
Harrison, I'm sorry to break it to you, but the Heat are undefeated in the year of our Lord and Savior 2023. So I'm just gonna follow the trends. I just read the tea leaves, Harrison. I don't make any bold predictions or nothing like that. I just do with what my eyes show me, and I have not seen them lose in 2023. So you know what that means for happening on January 4th? The Heat about to blow that shit out. Fuck is you talking about? LeBron James 6 points. You wait until you catch Kareem. That's what I'm talking. I like this graphic. It's 3 me's. It's 4 me's on the screen now. We have even the odds, bitches. It's more me than it is y'all. But yes, LeBron James, you can take it off the screen now. It's distracting me. LeBron James, 6 points. We locking that shit up. Bam Adebayo, 40. Tyler,
22.
He'll contribute. 22. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Maybe in one half he'll do 22. So let's give him 22 and a half of basketball. I can fuss with that. Jimmy, research his game. 40 for him too. Kyle,
4.
God bless him. God bless him, but motherfuck him. Put Vic Oladipo in the game. Goddamn, please. But Vic, 3 steals on the stat sheet is already in there, plugged in already. 4 blocks, 20. He win by 35. Easy. You heard it here first now. So when it happens, don't say it was a prediction. It was a premonition. All right. I told y'all what was going to happen. I'm a prophet out here. So thank you guys in the comments as always for joining the show, making it much more fun. Somebody want to cook right fast? Oh, my bad, Maserati. Go ahead, bro.
I was just wondering if we're going to talk about the elephant in the room.
Kyle Lowry?
No. That's one. I'm sorry, elephants in the room. I apologize.
I was trying to let that boy skate up out of here, but if somebody wanted to filet mignon his ass, we still got 22 minutes that we could spare. You know,
I'm not going to talk about Kyle Lowry. I'm going to talk about supposedly the greatest general manager in the history of the NBA, Patrick Riley, who I used to look up to, used to call the Godfather, just like everybody told me he was. Our franchise player's best friend dropped 71, 10, and 11 tonight. We were all told that cutthroat Pat Riley was back. Correct? We were all told.
That's what I heard.
That after an embarrassing end to the season like that this man could potentially gut the roster like he did for Shaquille O'Neal. But when push came to shove this year, Pat Riley didn't want to do it. The Heat were not all in on Donovan Mitchell. If you were not all in on a player that is best friends with your franchise player, that grew up idolizing Dwayne Wade, that dropped 71, 10, and 11, by himself as a combo guard, literally growing up idolizing Dwayne Wade, is in Miami having dinner with Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, is going on interviews saying, I thought I was going to play for the Miami Heat. Listen, man, at a certain point, this is the win of the season, arguably, for the Miami Heat, and they are 2 games over 500 for the first time all year in his game 38. This is just the reality. We are all currently celebrating mediocrity because that's all we can do right now. But I know Pat Riley doesn't stand for that. So, Pat, turn back the clock and do something. I know you can't get KD, who's an MVP candidate right now. You couldn't give up Bam for that. I know you weren't all in on Donovan Mitchell for whatever reason. But somehow you can still make this right because Bam Adebayo is saving your ass by taking an all-NBA leap and looking like he can at least be the second best player on a championship team. So get this man a 4, not just this year, but for the foreseeable future. Trade picks 2027 and 2028 because you're not going to be here in Miami, maybe not even on this earth by the time that draft rolls around. And let's get things going.
I got a question.
Pat Riley right now is cutting with a fucking butter knife. Get a fucking steak knife, bro. Kick it back to 2006 and get rid of the fucking players that don't know what they're doing. Doesn't matter if Kyle Lowry is the godfather to Jimmy Butler's daughter. I'm sure he's a great guy. They can remain friends. Get him off the fucking team, bro. Get a third team involved. Attach something. Do what you got to do. But bring back cutthroat Pat Riley. Please.
That IG messenger does work, so they can be friends from a distance. Go ahead, Alex. You said you had a question for the panel.
What does Pat Riley have to go back to? Like what has he done except draft Dwayne Wade, and he didn't even want to do that? So Dwayne got the big 3 here.
I think a lot of people like glorify Pat because he was willing to trade like his best player in Glenn Rice to get another player like Alonzo Mourning, and he was willing to do it again, like a young prospect like Caron Butler. He traded Lamar Odom, who had just had his best season,
washed Shaq.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But this is what I'm saying. Like that move ended up with us having a championship. So
I agree.
They glorify the days of Pat being willing to do any and everything to put this team in position to win a championship. It does not feel like that. It feels like we've gotten sentimental Pat for the past couple of years, and that's just kind of like what people don't want to see.
I just want to know, since 2006, what has Pat Riley done except maybe get Jimmy Butler with no cap space, and Jimmy kind of wanted to just come here based off of Dwayne Wade's recruiting.
And that was Andy Ellisberg.
Made 5 finals.
No. I'm talking about setting up the franchise, right? So Dwayne Wade brought you Chris Bosh and LeBron. Dwayne Wade pitched Miami to Jimmy Butler. What has Pat done other than overpay James Johnson, Tyler Johnson, Hassan Whiteside, Dion Waiters? What has Pat done since drafting Dwayne and trading for Shaq?
No, I'm not going to sit here and take the disrespect to
he drafted Bam Adebayo.
Legend. Yeah. Listen, the hate for Pat Riley is disgusting. I don't stand for the hate for him. I don't stand for the hate for Udonis Haslem. I don't care how washed up they are now. Let's not act like these guys are some bums that been bums for 20 years. The Miami Heat would not exist without these guys, without everything they've done for the team. Let's not act like Dwayne Wade is 100% the reason they got these guys here. You think LeBron's coming here if Pat Riley's a bum? You think Ray Allen's coming here if he's a bum? No. You think we're getting meetings?
I watched LeBron go back to Dan Gilbert's dumbass, okay? LeBron will go wherever the fuck he wanted to go.
LaMarcus Aldridge, no cap space. Kevin Durant, no cap space. That's because of Pat Riley. He put this team in a position to get LeBron James and Chris Bosh. That's not Dwayne Wade. Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg deserve a ton of credit, although they've made a bunch of mistakes along the way. But who hasn't? So I'm not gonna sit here and let that guy get disrespected like he's been senile for 15 years now. It's only been
it hasn't.
It's been like 10.
It's been.
Yeah,
Let
I want to jump in.
Let me hop on. I definitely lean towards more of what Ann was saying. Like, I understand that people get frustrated, but you got to remember, like, he brought Shaq here. The biggest trade in NBA history the year after that ends up leading to the championship. Wade ends up becoming one of the better players in the league.
And he coached him too.
And if you guys remember, there was a lot of talk about why are we wasting Dwayne Wade's prime? Like, you remember those years, and the Heat were just like waiting patiently. They were the only team in 2010 that had the cap space for all 3 guys. Everybody thought they were going to Chicago.
Chicago did too.
They did not have enough for all 3. The Heat were the only team that had enough for all 3 to get max contracts. So you guys can think whatever you want. Like, that was all planned. That was set up. That they deserve all the credit for that. And obviously the big 3, some of the great, that 4 years is probably the greatest experience as a sports fan, as a Heat fan you could have. I would say since that time, I think LeBron broke Riley. I don't think he expected him to leave. I don't think he ever expected him to turn away from the organization and go back to Cleveland. And I just think since then they've just made some weird mistakes. That doesn't discredit anything they've done in the past. Kind of what Ant's saying, like as a Heat fan, you got to appreciate what's been done and what they've done for us. But I think it does mean that you can take you can criticize what's happened. You can look at what's been going on and understand that a lot of what's happened is just not understanding that like the league is changing. Like assets are important. The draft is important. They should know that. They got Bam and Tyler from the draft. So it's stupid to sit here and be like, no, they should go for it. Like my biggest complaint is that there have been many, many years where we knew the team was not good enough. You could ask any fan objectively and say, are the Heat really doing it this year? And the answer was no. And we knew that. And instead of recouping what they could or trading guys they weren't going to re-sign, there's no reason in today's NBA that you should let a guy walk for free. It's stupid asset management. And it's okay to say that. Like, I don't think we're being
right. And I think Team Alex is saying we need to criticize Pat Riley more than treat him like a demigod, so to speak.
I give Pat Riley credit.
I like how y'all called yourself Team Alex, and I also like watching white people fight. So y'all go ahead and continue. Go ahead, Bubba.
I was just saying, like Pat Riley, the Heat would not be where they are at if they do not make that trade. I give Pat all the credit in the world for Shaq. I give Pat a lot of the credit for the Big Three era. I'm just saying he needs to get back to those ways. Why is he not being himself? Why is he not acting like he was acting previous years, which is what we got the Heat to where we are now? Like, he did all the correct things, making the right moves, knowing how the league works, making these big transactions, gutting the roster and being cutthroat when we had to build this incredibly well-run organization that people believe is one of the most well-run organizations in sports, period, across the four major sports. Heat culture, people are buying in. And then you got away from it. So I don't understand why they've gotten away from the blueprint that got them there, which is whatever it takes to win a championship each and every year, going into the tax, trading the draft picks, getting rid of young players to go add a superstar. That is the Pat Riley that built this Heat organization to one of the top places in the NBA. And
so I got a question.
He hasn't won a championship with the Miami Heat without following that blueprint, because that is the correct blueprint to win championships in the NBA. So
I got a question to that end for Ant. So is it Pat becoming more sentimental, or is it more so him being stubborn and setting his ways that's not allowing him to kind of change with the rest of the league?
Okay.
And I'll throw this question to you next, Alex.
Yeah, that's a good question because, Alex, everything you're saying is obviously correct. I would argue that it's not Pat Riley being soft. It's not Pat Riley not being cutthroat. I would argue he's trying. Just because you don't land Donovan Mitchell and you don't land Kevin Durant doesn't mean he's not trying. And you said earlier, flip the first round pick, go get some help for Bam. That would be stupid asset management too, because all year we said, don't waste your assets for a marginal improvement because this team is not good enough. So Pat is saving them for the whale. I truly believe he tried in the offseason to get the whale. I don't think Danny Ainge would have accepted any package we threw for Donovan Mitchell. I don't think the Nets would have taken anything we possibly have for Kevin Durant. That's why I like what my guy Adam Barai said, who said, Pat Riley's my all-father. He's the GOAT. Hashtag guts. Hashtag culture. He brought this franchise. To this franchise to never be forgotten. You guys are spoiled. You want to be the Kings so badly? Go be the Kings. That's all I got.
First of all, none of you fuckers on this panel will ever be the King, so y'all can cut that shit out right now. I see LJ in the private chat with that nasty ass work that he had a couple of minutes ago. But Shelton, I want to throw the question to you. Is it Pat being too sentimental, or is it Pat being too stubborn that's not allowing him to change with the league?
I think it's just stubbornness. Like, stubbornness is the reason LeBron walked. Stubbornness is the reason Dwayne walked. He's been too afraid to overcommit to something and be incorrect on that overcommittal, and he'll go halfway, and then you get a season like this season where you're just destined for a first round exit. So it's like he wanted to somehow fleece acquiring Donovan Mitchell instead of just like doing the duh thing and just get him, right? And so, I don't subscribe to the idea that Donovan Mitchell was just not attainable at all. The pieces that were sent to get him were Lauri Markkanen, who not current Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen was considered an abomination of a contract and player when
You
he was
spit my
traded
words,
there.
man. You spit my words. I'm gonna let
So
you cook.
anyone that thinks this Lowry Markkinen this season was the talent that the Utah Jazz were acquiring, he wasn't. You had Colin Sexton coming off a torn knee. That is not an asset. That is a potential, maybe he can rehab. He's a question mark. He's not like the main piece in this type of deal. You had a undrafted player who I don't even know what his name is in my recollection at this point. And then you had 3 picks and 2 swaps, which the Heat, I believe, could match. I might be mistaken on that. Harry could probably correct me. But regardless, we had maybe a top 3 chip in the league that was possibly movable, outside of the guys that aren't going to be moved. Tyler Herro is probably a top 3 trade chip to be moved. And then we had 3 picks to move as well. So I don't think Danny Ainge is just not going to deal with Pat Riley because he doesn't like him. Like, he's going to do what's best for the franchise because that's what these people do.
Harry, I want to throw this question to you, though. Like, do you think it played a factor to his point? Like, Tyler Herro was a prime chip that could have been traded in a deal like that. Do you think one of the determining factors was the fact that Tyler Herro's extension was going to be more expensive than what Colin Sexton's ended up being?
Yeah, I think the trade kind of worked out where the Utah Jazz took a gamble on what they thought, a team where they weren't sure if Donovan was going to re-sign there. So they took the chance with Cleveland, thinking that Donovan wasn't going to re-sign because then those later picks are probably more valuable. Because obviously we talk about it, right? We always say, like, the problem with the Heat draft picks is they end up being pretty good. They're not usually lottery picks. And so if a team's going to take a gamble, they're going to pick the team who's, significantly has a chance of them being a lot worse. That's the Cavs team. So I don't know if, it's hard to say, like, what would have happened if the Heat could have cashed and everything and it would have worked, if Danny Ainge would have wanted to trade. I mean, listen, he's made 2 trades with Pat Riley since he called him a bitch. So I hate that narrative. Like, they made 2 trades. They weren't massive trades. They were like salary dumps. It was Goran's brother and Joel Anthony. So there's nothing big, but they've dealt with each other before. I'm sure, even though they don't like each other, they'll make a move. Who knows? There might be a move later this year involving a Jazz player. And to answer your other question, Royal, I think it's both. I think Pat's both sentimental and stubborn. I think a lot of the sentimentality came when Wade left. I think that hurt the franchise. I don't think anyone expected it. I don't think Wade expected to leave. I don't think the Heat expected them to leave. And since then, they've made a lot of weird signings to guys that aren't nearly as good, and they've paid a lot of money to dudes who don't deserve it. A lot of white guys that they should stop doing that for. And
it's getting pretty racist, Harry. I ain't gonna hold you.
I know, but I think most of the time it's just not a great move. And so I'm more concerned that they just haven't made the change. I don't know why they can't look at what they've been doing and saying, like, this hasn't worked. If Pat, like, from what I had been told, Pat was not a big fan of Duncan and Spo was. And if Pat felt that way, he should have stepped up and said something, because, if a 5-year deal for a guy that can play 5 minutes and get some good cardio and not make a basket is a problem for this team. And then the other issue is, I wish someone would have just told him that Lowry wasn't the move. That has really been bad as well. And it just seems like they compound mistakes sometimes because they think they're on the verge of competing. And that probably that might have taken us further away from contention if they just kind of let things ride out the way they did and look for another move. So what I talk about and what we're looking for, and I think what a lot of us want to happen is, like, whether it's Pat, whether it's Andy, whether it's anybody else in the front office, whoever's making the decisions, like, find guys that work for the squad, find athletes, find guys that are quick, not small, not undrafted, not guys that, work hard because they have to work hard. Find guys that work hard because they're friggin' elite at basketball and they're going to help this team win. I don't like.
You cooking, Harry, but I'm finna cut you off.
That's fine.
You've been cooking for 3 minutes. But something that you were talking about that Alex kind of alluded to with the 199 donut is, like, part of it is Spo likes his players. And that's kind of why we have Duncan here, because Spo liked him. Thank you, BB, for the $5 donut. He said, today, who can we honestly get in exchange for what we currently have on this roster? For real, we were down this road just last year. Picks for Bogdanovich. No, I think we were in a different position last year. Last year was the year that they should have cashed in. They were close enough. They were playing well, had people playing above their heads. Last year was the year that they should have cashed in. This year, it doesn't make as much sense. I feel like something's in my mouth.
The other thing, Royal, is that they need to be able to understand that playing well in the regular season is so different from the postseason, and that's what they mess up a lot of times. Like, so last year, right, to the top seed, they didn't want to mess with chemistry or anything like that. Making a move, getting the guy that you needed would have helped a lot last year. This year, it's like you're looking around the league, you're worried if you can score that much, and we don't know if they can. We just need them to get rid of some of their junk and hope they can retool going into the offseason.
Can I jump on that?
Go ahead.
Real quick. So the point of regular season different from playoffs, that's why I'm getting real frustrated with Jimmy this regular season, because we know in the playoffs, Jimmy is going to be the guy. And how is that going to reflect on Bam and Tyler going forward? And that's my fear.
It is going to change the way this team has to play basketball in order to accommodate the way Jimmy needs to play basketball.
Exactly, and that's my fear.
That is a conversation for down the road. Listen, I tried to give y'all 30 minutes. They coaxed me into giving y'all an hour. So fuck all that. I already thanked y'all one time. Want to thank the Alex brothers on here. Alex M and Alex M is Bubba, but Alex Sheltman and Bubba. I want to thank my guy Ant Donardo and want to thank my guy Harrison for joining me. I am sleepy as a motherfucker.
Hey, pray for DeMar Hamel too. I wanted to shout that out.
Oh no, for sure. Make sure y'all pray for that, man. And we're gonna wrap this up. That was a terrible way to end this show, Ant, because now I'm all sad about it all over again. Play the video, me.
Yeah, we packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat pack in the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the Trey, yes and no, friends and the foes, the Butlers and the Herro. You can feel it in your soul, but when the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing, like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.